Premier League football is officially back. And with the first Premier League game of the season being today, I thought, why not make a video? Why not drop my predictions from 20th to 1st? Talk about the Premier League team of the season, talk about the Golden Boot, talk about the manager of the year. Let's just talk about everything football. The anticipation, the wait, the build-up is finally over. We can finally enjoy some Premier League football. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your espresso, whatever that choice of beverage is, and let's get into the predictions. Before we get into it, you might think I'm a shameless Manchester United fan when I put them where I'm going to put them. But all I ask is for you to hear me out. Starting off I'm going to go with Leeds. Newly promoted side. I just think that the Premier League level is continuing to raise. I think all of the teams are getting better, and I have a hard time seeing a way for them to stay up this season. I think they go right back down to the championship after the season. In 19th place, I have Burnley. So you're probably thinking, Gabe, are you going with the exact same three that got promoted to get relegated again? The answer is no. These two, I think, are going to drop back down. I don't necessarily know if they are good enough to stay up in the Prem, but I think there is going to be a different side that is going to go down. The side that I think is going to go down is going to be Brentford. Why Brentford? Well, they've lost Brian Mbeumo. Thomas Frank has gone to Tottenham. Vissa seems like he's on the way out. I think that is a lot to lose in one summer. I think they are going to find it very difficult to stay above the relegation zone. And look, I like Brentford as a club. I think they're a top club. I really enjoyed watching them under Thomas Frank. I think he is a top manager. But I think when you lose players of that quality, when you lose your manager, I think they may go through a bit of a transition moment here. And I think they'll finish 18th and drop down to the championship next season. 17th, I have Sunderland. Back in the Prem, they are going to stay up. In 16th, I am going to go with Wolves. I think when you lose Mateus Cunha, it's a big loss. A very important player for them. I think they're going to have enough goals to avoid relegation compared to the three teams that are going to get relegated. But I think they're going to take a step back, and I think they're going to finish in 16th. In 15th, I have Everton. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, I do have one of Everton's players in my Premier League team of the season. However, I can't really see them finishing any higher than 15 just because of the strength of the sides in the Premier League. David Moyes, ton of experience in Premier League football. Although I have them finishing 15th, I don't think they're going to have a horrible season, but I don't think it's going to be as good of a season as everyone is expecting. In 14th, I have Fulham. I have to be completely honest, I am a little bit biased as I'm Portuguese. I love Marco Silva. I think he is a top manager, and I think they have some really quality players in their side. When you look at Alex Iwobi, you look at Adama Traore, you look at Raul Jimenez, you look at Rodrigo Muniz. In midfield, you have players like Sander Berg, Emil Smith-Rowe. There's quality there. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Robinson. I actually think he's one of the more underrated players in the Premier League. For me, Fulham finished 14th. 13th, I'm going to go with West Ham. Graham Potter, again, another top manager. Obviously, after Brighton, things didn't necessarily go to plan, in my opinion, with him and his career, I'm sure. But I still think he is a top level manager. And for that reason, I'm putting West Ham 13th. 12th, I'm going Crystal Palace. FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners. It's been quite a success. I think, again, they're going to get enough goals when you look at Mateta, but my worry is the potential of Eze leaving. There have been many reports of him potentially going to Tottenham. And I think if you lose a player of that creativity, it's going to be very hard to replace. So I have Crystal Palace coming in 12th. 11th, I have Forest. Huge Nuno fan. I think he is, again, a top-level manager. Obviously, a bit of tension, if you will, apparently, with him in management. But I think the fact that they got to keep Morgan Gibbs-White when it looked like he was all but going to Tottenham, I think it's a great keep, and I think that they are going to finish in 11th place. In 10th, I have Brighton. Is Carlos Baleba going to be a Manchester United player? I really hope so. If they lose him, I think it would be a huge miss for them for the 25-26 Premier League season. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen. I still think that deal is a long shot, and they still have a abundance of quality. So I think they're going to finish in 10th. In 9th, I'm going to go with Bournemouth. I think they have one of the best managers in the Premier League. I really like players like Kluivert. I really like players like Evan Nielsen. I think they're maybe lacking some goals to go a little bit higher, and for that reason, I think they're going to finish in 9th. In 8th, I have Aston Villa. Unai Emery, one of my favorite managers in the Premier League. You look at the players that they have, there is quality all over the pitch. They kept Ollie Watkins when it looked like he was going to be on the way out. They have players like Amadou Onana, Boubacar Kamara, Morgan Rogers. There's an abundance of quality in the side. I think the teams that are going to finish above them are just a little bit of a different level. And for that reason, I think they're going to finish in 8th. In 7th, I have Spurs. Now, I know I said earlier that Thomas Frank is one of my favorite managers, and he absolutely is. However, in losing James Maddison for the season, Kulusevski's injured. On the flip side, they brought in Mohamed Kudus, and there are links to them bringing in Eze. I worry about their overall goal scoring. I don't know if they're going to get enough goals to push for those Champions League spots. But I do think that Thomas Frank is going to really elevate them from where they finished in the Premier League last season. Obviously, they won the Europa League, so they are in Champions League football. So I do think it is going to be a bit tough, them having to balance both. And for that reason, I have them finishing in 7th. In 6th place, I have Newcastle. Now, the big story with Newcastle, of course, is Alexander Isak. Is he staying? Is he going? According to reports, he is refusing to play for them. He wants out. He has apparently made up his mind that he no longer wants to play for the club. If they lose Alexander Isak, that is a huge loss. Obviously, there have been a lot of jokes flying around. They were in for Benjamin Sesko. They didn't get him. They were in for Hugo Ekitike. They didn't get him. I think this late in the window, being able to replace Alexander Isak's output and just his overall impact in a game is going to be difficult. I very highly rate Eddie Howe. I still think they have a great side with Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes. They have Anthony Gordon and Anthony Elanga. They still have some really good pieces there, but I think without a out-and-out goal scorer or a main man up front, they might struggle for goals. I have them finishing 6th. 5th, I have my club, Manchester United. Now, I know you're probably going to laugh, and fair enough. Last season was a disgrace. It was a joke. It was the worst season I have ever seen from the club. But I think there is really no excuses for them to have a much better season this season. I mean, you can't really have a worse season. Last season, 15th, you lose in the Europa League final to Spurs. I think now that the side has had a preseason with Ruben Amorim, I think the fact that there is no European football, I think the fact that they've completely revamped their front three, I think Manchester United didn't score enough goals last season. There were many games where we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. You're bringing in Brian Mbeumo, who scored 20 in the Prem last season. You're bringing in Mateus Cunha. Hopefully, Benjamin Sesko can have a really good first season with the club. I think it's make or break for Ruben Amorim. I think if Ruben Amorim starts this season the way he finished last season, there are going to be a lot of questions. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to start off strong, and I think they're going to finish in 5th. In 4th, I have Chelsea. Enzo Maresca, Cole Palmer, Joao Pedro, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Reece James. I mean, it's a really good side coached by a really good coach. I don't know if they're ready to compete with the three at the top. I think they're going to have a good season. I actually have one of their players in my Premier League team this season, and I think they finished 4th. In 3rd, I have Arsenal. I'm not sure if they've done enough in the window for them to be champions. Now, of course, they've gone and brought in the number 9, the Victor Gyökeres. It's going to be interesting to see how Mikel Arteta does with an out-and-out number 9. You've seen him have some success with Mikel Merino there. Obviously, he's really enjoyed playing Kai Havertz there. He played Gabi Jesus there in the past. He likes a bit more of a mobile 9, someone who's going to drop deep into the pockets and link up play. Victor Gyökeres is more of a bully. He's going to run the channels. I've spoken a lot about him on this channel because United were linked to him. We ended up getting Sesko. I just don't know if that left wing spot is good enough. I think, when you look at Bukayo Saka and Victor Gyökeres, it is top. But then if you look at the left wing, it's Gabriel Martinelli or it's potentially Noni Madueke. I don't know if there's enough there. I do think that Mikel Arteta is a top manager. I love the midfield, especially if he decides to play a Declan Rice, Zubimendi midfield with maybe Odegaard up top in the 10 space. I still think they need a little bit of creativity. I'm surprised you're not pushing harder for an Eze. I'm surprised they're not pushing hard for Rodrigo. They have, in my opinion, the best center half pairing in the Prem, Golden Glove winner in David Raya. So all the pieces are there. I don't know if they have the winger, though, on the left-hand side to complement Bukayo Saka. And for that reason, I have them finishing third. Second place, I'm going Manchester City. If Rodri was fit from the beginning of the season, I would have put Manchester City first for the sole reason that I can't see Pep Guardiola losing out on back-to-back Premier League titles. With Rodri unavailable, that is a huge miss to start the season. I think he is a glue for that midfield. Although I obviously don't like them because I'm a United fan, I am interested to see Aït-Nouri, Reinders, Cherki all mesh with this Manchester City side. Obviously, there's still an abundance of quality. Erling Haaland, Jeremy Doku, Phil Foden, Ruben Dias, Gvardiol, they're stacked. I don't know if they'll have enough, especially when we talk about the Premier League champions, who I think it's going to be, and I think they finish second. Now, in first place, and as much as it pains me to say this, I think Liverpool win the Prem again. I think when you look at the season that Mohamed Salah had, I think a lot of people are saying that they think he's going to drop off. And you bring in a Hugo Ekitike, you look at their midfield with Gravenberch and McAllister, you have a defensive pairing of Virgil van Dijk and Konate. They're bringing in Mark Guéhi as well. They brought in Kerkez from Bournemouth. They have Alisson, who is still a top keeper. I think they can be susceptible to attacks on their right-hand side because Salah's not going to do a lot of defensive work, and I don't necessarily know about Jeremy Frimpong as a right back. I just think there is so much quality there, and then you bring in an Alexander Isak potentially alongside a Hugo Ekitike. They've upgraded and made themselves that much better from last season. And I got to be completely honest, I think with the emotion they're going to be playing with after the tragic loss of Diogo Jota and, of course, his brother, I just think there is going to be an emotion that they're going to be playing with for the entirety of the season. When you add that to the ridiculous amount of quality that they have on the side, and you add that to an Arne Slot who is only getting more comfortable in the Premier League, I think they're going back to back. Okay, so Premier League team of the season. In goal, I'm going to go with Alisson because I personally still think he is the best goalkeeper in the league. At left back, I'm going to go with Aït-Nouri. I know Pep loves to play 4 center halves in his back 4, but I think Aït-Nouri is going to have a really good season for Manchester City. It's a player I wanted Manchester United to go after for that wing-back spot. I think Aït-Nouri gets in. My 2 center halves. Virgil, I think, again, there's questions. Is he going to slow down? Center backs seem to get better with age. I think Virgil, it's a World Cup year. I think he gets in. This is not biased, by the way. But Lenny Euro, I'm telling you right now, watch out for this player this season. He is incredible. Granted, he's not playing in a back 2. He is playing in a 3, more specifically as a right center half in a 3. But he is just an incredible footballer. I think Lenny Euro gets in. As a right back, Daniel Munoz, probably not a popular shout, but every time I've watched him play for Palace, he is very, very good. I've had some friends tell me about him because they're Colombian, and yeah, he is top right back. I think he gets in Prem team of the season. My midfield 3, first I'm going to start with Declan Rice. I mean, this is just a ridiculously talented midfielder. The ground he covers, he's a powerful runner, good in duels. He's just the perfect idea, in my opinion, of a Premier League midfielder. I think he gets in. Moises Caicedo, I think him and Enzo Fernandez is a great midfield partner, one of the best partnerships in the Premier League. He is an incredible talent, a midfielder signed from Brighton, just like McAllister. Hopefully Manchester United, you take notes, you bring us that Baleba. I think Caicedo gets in. I think Chelsea have a good season, and I think Caicedo gets in. I'm going Bruno Fernandes. I don't care what anybody says. Bruno Fernandes is getting into the Premier League team of the season. This guy is going to have an outstanding season. So many people saying, oh, Bruno can't play in an 8, and Bruno's not going to be useful in the 10 because we have Cunha and Mbeumo. He is Manchester United captain. If Manchester United are going to finish in the top 5, like I predict us to finish, Bruno Fernandes is going to play a massive part in that. Give me Bruno Fernandes for the Premier League team of the season. And the front 3, we're going to go Bryan Mbeumo. 20 goals in the Premier League last season. He is going to be a massive player. I actually think he's going to be Manchester United's best player this season, alongside Bruno Fernandes. Bryan Mbeumo, Premier League team of the season. I think he's going to get close to 20 again. If not 20, give me Bryan Mbeumo. Left winger, I'm going with Ndai. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let me know if I'm not. This is one of my favorite players in the entire world. He is so rapid. He is so exciting. He is so direct. Every single time I watch Everton, when he has the ball at his feet, I think something's going to happen. One of the most exciting players in the Premier League. I think he's going to have an outstanding season. He gets in for me at left wing. At striker, I was debating what happens with Isak? Does he go to Liverpool? I think Erling Haaland, man, he's getting a lot of disrespect so far from what I'm hearing. I think he is going to be top this season. I think he's going to win the Golden Boot this season. And I got Erling Haaland as my striker and my team of the season. Okay, my manager of the season. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Ruben Amorim, manager of the season. He's going to bring United back to Champions League football. I'm backing him to the end. This might get clipped up after. I don't care. Ruben Amorim, manager of the season. Golden Boot, I am going with Erling Haaland. I think he is going to score a lot of goals this season. I think he's going to be ridiculously good this season. I think Pep is just so ready for the Premier League season. I think he's very upset at the way last season went, and I think Erling Haaland very much shares that mindset. I think he's going to win the Golden Boot. Player of the season, I'm going Bruno Fernandes. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. I don't care. That's it. Young player of the season, Lenny Euro. Lenny Euro. Lenny Euro. We're going with Lenny Euro, young player of the season. And yeah, I'm probably sipping all the copium right now in the world. Hopium. I just want to see Manchester United have a good season. So that's it. Those are my bold Premier League predictions for the 25-26 season. As always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know there are going to be a lot of people who disagree with me, and that is fine. I'm sure a lot of my takes are pretty out there, and again, that is fine. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're going to be dropping a match preview for Manchester United versus Arsenal. I cannot wait for it. Remember to hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload, and I will catch y'all again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, peace.